So it has been a while since I've done a TF Chats video. I started this thing on my channel when The Last Night came out on DVD, where I talked about Transformers news, or just talked about Transformers stuff in general. The last time I did a TF Chats video was 5 months ago. It was also the last time I did a Transformers video, which is pretty sad because I started making Transformers videos constantly, and that was what my channel was for the longest time. This TF Chats is going to be a very fun, I think, interesting one because we're talking about a new Transformers film. Yes, you heard that right. There's a new Transformers film coming out next year. It has been a very long time since we've gotten a live-action Transformers film. Hasbro and Paramount, they don't really know what they're doing. They were gonna do a reboot, but then Bumblebee didn't do so well in theaters, money-wise. You know, it's all about the money. And then we had all this information come out, and I did a whole video about talking about how Peter Cullen kind of got screwed over doing the Bumblebee movie. I will link my Why We Should Bring Back Peter Cullen video in the description. So we're talking about a new Transformers movie. We're talking about news. I'm just gonna preface this by saying I am looking forward to this movie because it is Transformers, and I miss like the hype. I miss the trailers. I miss the excitement of going to see the movie in theaters on a big screen, the posters, the tickets, the merch. I miss the whole experience. I will say I'm not very excited for what the movie's about. It's going in the direction of Transformers that I don't really care for. What I mean by that is, new movie is called Transformers Rise of the Beast. It's going in kind of the Maximals, Predacons, Beast Wars, and I'm not gonna lie, I did not like Beast Wars. It gave us a description that had Predacons, Maximals, I just instantly was like, oh no. Since that initial reaction, more has come out, and I'm slowly getting a little bit excited, but because the last couple Transformers projects to me have just not piqued my interest. I did not like Cyberverse, the TV show. I dropped Rescue Bots Academy. I have not even finished season 2. The Netflix show, I'm not a huge fan of. I've gotten to the point where anytime I hear about a new Transformers project, I get very nervous because I don't know if it's going to be something that I'm going to enjoy or it's going to be something like Cyberverse or Rescue Bots Academy. That being said, when it comes to this Transformers movie, I'm going to keep my expectations pretty low. However, quite a bit has come out about this movie. Now, granted, I believe all of this is confirmed, or at least is true. That being said, take it with a grain of salt, because I still don't know. I'm just gonna jump right into all of the news that we have on this film. The title of the movie they gave to us is Transformers Rise of the Beast, and it comes out on June 24th, 2022. That should be exciting. That alone, the fact that there's gonna be a new Transformers film, just the thought of that excites me. The plot and like the concept might not, but just the idea of a new Transformers film and the experience of seeing it, the merch, the trailers, everything, that excites me a lot. Transformers movies, the official Instagram account posted this description. They said the battle on Earth is no longer just between Autobots and Decepticons. Maximals, Predacons, and the Terracons join Transformers Rise of the Beast. Saying it's gonna be Autobots, Decepticons, and Maximals, and Predacons, and Terracons, which should be interesting to say the least. It's gonna be very weird because the other reason why I'm a little nervous and hesitant about this movie, when I think of the Maximals and the Predacons, I think of Optimus Prime or Optimus Primal turning into a giant gorilla. He's not gonna be a regular sized gorilla, he's probably gonna be a giant ass metal gorilla, because if you've seen that concept art, I'll put up on the screen right now, if you've seen that concept art of when like The Last Night came out or around the same time, there was concept art of a metal gorilla, and in another interview, the director, the producer, they said for this movie, they said that concept image is pretty accurate to what he's gonna look like in the film with just more fur on him or fur on him in general. That just, the whole idea of that, just like, I don't know how that's gonna work, seeing a giant metal real life gorilla giant thing on the screen, like Rhinox too, like a giant metal rhino. It just is like, I don't know how they're gonna do. In theory, it could work, but on screen is a whole nother thing. I'll just have to wait and see in the trailers or in the film. I'm keeping an open mind, kind of. It's a little weird to think about, but we're just gonna roll with it. TFW 2005 got a special announcement for an event by Paramount Pictures. They gave us some more information on characters and such. I'll read to you what TFW 2005 got from this event. Transformers Rise of the Beast, the 7th live-action movie by Hasbro, E1, and Paramount Pictures. The events of the movie will take place in the year 1994. Location, Peru. It's interesting. It'll take place in 1994, so it looks like, I guess they're going with the Bumblebee timeline. On location shooting will take place in Machu Picchu and Canada. Oh, interesting. Canada will stand in for Brooklyn, New York. The story continues the 2018 Bumblebee movie set in 1994. So it seems like they're going more with the Bumblebee, continuing on with that reboot version, which I'm okay with, because Bumblebee is my favorite Transformers live action film, but Bumblebee was so freaking fantastic. So I'm glad they're sticking with that at least, because I loved the whole concept and idea of Bumblebee. It was just so great. But as always, the story is tied to human civilization. We know, I mean, can we just get rid of humans? Cade, I liked Cade better than Sam, but I gotta say, Haley Steinfeld's character, Charlie, was fantastic. She's my favorite human out of the entire Transformers live action movies, because it's Haley Steinfeld, but also because I felt like Charlie had a really nice arc, and her relationship with Bumblebee was so freaking cute. This time we have Incas. Their traditions and way of life is explored through Cybertronian eyes. Interesting. So does that mean like the Maximals and the Predacons are gonna have to do with like Incan culture? Maybe the Incan stuff, they were like gods or something? Because I know the Aztecs worshipped a bunch of gods, and they would do human sacrifices by cutting out the hearts of their sacrifices and feeding them to the gods. I had a whole section in 7th grade history class where we talked about the Mayan, the Aztecs, and the Incas, and Greek mythology. So like those are like 2 things that I know. Also, I did a whole history project about Aztec sacrifices in high school. I know a lot of this stuff. Speaking on which, Maximals and Predacons will be prominently featured in the movie. Also, we have seen Terracons. Predacons and Terracons are not allies. Terracons are the main baddies. Predacons are reptilian in nature and are the enemies of the Maximals. Meanwhile, Terracons are a threat to them, but more an opposite to the Autobots. That's gonna be a lot of robot characters. If I'm thinking about this right, it's almost like levels of Endgame and Infinity War. Optimus Prime is the lead character. Yes, he's the main face of Transformers. You cannot tell me otherwise. And his ult mode is an upgraded version of the G1 look from the Bumblebee movie. Love to see it. His look in the Bumblebee movie was amazing. Think B-movie Earth mode with a gray torso, gray windshield flaps, gray upper shoulder parts that lead into the smokestacks. Now, I read this next sentence, and I started tearing up. Peter Cullen will once again reprise his voice acting duties. I don't want to go into too much detail about this. I'll link my why we need to bring back Peter Cullen video in the description. By the way, Peter Cullen confirmed all of this during a convention that he went to. You can find those clips of him talking about it on it. He talked about in that interview about how for the Transformers Netflix show, he was never even asked. He didn't even know they were making it until like he saw a trailer and he heard the voice acting, and he was so upset and disappointed. And when in terms of the Bumblebee movie, if you all know the YouTube channel John Bailey, he was brought in to do the voice of Optimus Prime for quite a few months, and then they brought in Peter Cullen for only a few days to mimic John Bailey, and brought in Peter Cullen to mimic John Bailey, who John Bailey was mimicking Peter Cullen. If that's not the biggest insult, I don't know what is. That pisses me off so freaking much. The fact that they're bringing back Peter Cullen for this movie shows to me that maybe Hasbro and Paramount are listening, because people are pissed off. Sorry, we're going off topic. Anyway, moving back on. For Bumblebee. Bumblebee is a classic Camaro with an off-road extension. So he is gonna still be a Camaro. Yes. 2nd gen 70s Camaro, Ray Z/28. Badging, external framing, chunky wheels, light up bar on top, Ella Ratchet. Interesting. The next character they're going to have gets me very excited because he's a G1 favorite of mine. That is Mirage! I really like G1 Mirage. Mirage was pretty cool in Siege/Earthrise. He's a G1 character that I think needs more love. Just like, when the fuck are we gonna get a live action or another updated version of Sunstreaker? Sunstreaker either needs to be in a live action film or he needs to be in a new Transformers show, because G1 Sunstreaker is fantastic. Mirage is going to be a silver and blue Porsche. His characterization is similar to AOU Crosshairs! Ooh! I really, really like Crosshairs in the live action films. He's great. I love him. Besides Optimus and Bumblebee, he's my favorite other live action Autobot because he's just so freaking cool. The fact that Mirage is going to be similar to him, I already know I probably love him. Can transform into multiple types of vehicles. I wonder if they're still gonna give him cloaking. Wait, now here's where we get to other characters. I'm not a big fan of RC. The only version of RC I like is Prime RC because she's not pink and she's a freaking badass. G1 RC is not necessarily my favorite. RC's robot mode is close to G1 and is a Ducati, I think that's how you pronounce it, 916 motorcycle. Oh! So she is gonna be a motorcycle. She was a car in G1. Red with rose/pink and white highlights. So she's gonna be red with pink/rose and white highlights. But that should be interesting. She's gonna be a motorcycle, which is gonna have like G1 colors and a few G1 accents. I'm interested to see that robot design in action. So next we have Nightbird. I don't know. I think there was a character in G1 called Nightbird, but she was like a human-made robot, and I think she was taken over by the Decepticons, and I think she was an assassin, maybe? Nightbird is included as a Nissan GTR. She's also a Terracon, purplish gray in color. She's a modernized version of the G1 character, the same name. Yep, Terracon, but alliances are flexible. Is she gonna kind of be like the Drift? Next we have Scourge, the leader of the Terracons and is a trophy hunter. Like Lockdown from Age of Extinction. Interesting. I liked Lockdown's whole trophy hunter type of aesthetic and vibe. When he kills, he rips the faction insignias and tattoos them onto his body. Whoa, dude. Ejima? 4 smokestacks on back, all smoking. Ooh, claw hand with electricity? He just sounds like a total badass. His design sounds very cool. Very excited to see that. That might be a very cool action figure to have. Now we have Air Razor is a robotic bird, rusty bird mode, steampunk aesthetic. Silhouette is very real life bird. Kind of like Laserbeak was in Dark of the Moon, but not to that extent. Some of these robot modes for these new characters sound very cool, and I'm interested to see what they actually look like. I don't know if we have any concept art yet. Rhinox needs no introduction. We all know Rhinox. In Beast Wars, he had green and a little bit of like yellow when he turned into a rhinoceros. So very rhino-shaped, platted, also steampunk and rusty. Ironhide-like. Okay, that's cool. So are they gonna have any colors on them, or are they just gonna be very rusty looking like robot/animals? That's gonna be weird because they did say Optimus Primal will have fur on him. In robot mode, are they gonna look more like a robot? And in beast mode, are they gonna look more like a beast? Maybe some mass shifting going on. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see these concepts in a trailer in real life. So are they all gonna be metal robots, but then like they're gonna have like the tough hide of a rhino, like Optimus Primal's gonna have his fur? How's that gonna work? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much. So the next part we have, fans have seen Optimus Primal before. Remember that Transformers The Last Night CGI concept art? Yep, but with much more fur. So like I said before, they want to have that concept image is basically, I guess, what Optimus Primal is gonna look like, but with more fur. Here's the image. Has me a little concerned. One thing to see a truck transform into a robot. It's another thing to see a giant ape, giant gorilla turn into a robot. That's a whole nother thing. A dinosaur makes sense because dinosaurs are that huge. Gorillas, not so much. The whole seeing giant CGI metal animals that has me a little concerned in this movie. But we'll see. I'm keeping an open mind, but I'm just like a little skeptical. Don't mess with Primal. Rusty under frame, looks like random patches of skin and fur layered on top, making me think of Lockdown's wolf things that he had. Know that we're attacking Tessa and Cade on those coils, you know, and Bumblebee had to rescue him. Does it not remind you of that? And if that's the case, I wasn't a huge fan of those designs. Shooting in Peru for 6 weeks. This is a spectacle story, big action movie with deeper character story style from Bumblebee movie. Fabulous. Key-wise, it's not a small budget film. This is a summer blockbuster level stuff. Obviously, because there's gonna be a lot of robots in it, so you have to have a pretty extensive budget to do that. That's the only Transformers information we had for a while, and then we got a confirmation. Ron Perlman, this is Ron Perlman, he plays Hellboy in the Hellboy live action movies. He is going to be voicing Optimus Primal. So that should be interesting. He's got a very cool, unique voice. That's all of the news we have so far for this Transformers movie. As more information comes out, I start to get a little bit more excited, but I'm still keeping my expectations very low because I'm not a huge fan of the Beast Wars, Predacons, Maximals. Seeing that idea just doesn't fit with me, like a giant metal gorilla running around with a rhinoceros. I don't know, it seems like a lot for, I don't know, it just seems really weird. I've just been getting a lot nervous. I haven't really been in a big Transformers obsessive mood for the last couple years because of how I've not been enjoying the content we've been getting. It's just right now, it's like a roller coaster. There's many times where you're in a fandom and there's lots of things in the fandom or a couple things in a fandom that you don't like. You can like and dislike things within a fandom. It's normal. It's also normal to be in a fandom but not be into it at the moment, but then later on you're back into it. I still love Transformers. I still watch it. I talk about it all the time with my family, with my friends. I love this fandom a lot, though I haven't really been interested in the last couple years. Still really the last couple months, the last year, I just still really love this fandom. This fandom means a lot to me. I'm really excited for this film, even though I have my issues and complaints with it already. I'm keeping an open mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. There will be more Transformers content on this channel. Don't know how often, but I'm going to try to make more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys with another video very soon. Bye, guys!